mute it before I start. Okay, it is. Let me go ahead and minimize this. And all right, so I want to go over a few things just to refamiliarize, lay down some understanding and all that good stuff, just because I haven't done it in a while. I want to make sure I stay on track with what I'm doing with you guys, and whoever may be listening to this recording, it will help to refamiliarize them as well. First and foremost, I want to say that my disclaimer is as follows. Any and everything that I speak about on this call is of my own opinion. I do not have license to give financial and or legal advice. You have to get that information from a licensed person at whatever field that is that you're looking. What my objective is to give an understanding of an industry that does not get taught in school, and that is financial. It is taught, but after you go to college to either be an accountant or something like that. They teach math and different styles and what have you, but they don't teach you financial literacy, which is understanding how to use it, money, when you have it. So my objective is coming from my own experiences and what I went through over the course of my life because I was not educated in a financial foundation. That is the reason why we're on this call. And it's for anyone who is 11 years old up to even adults. There are some 20, 21, and the rest of the adults that are in here. My apologies. So what we do here is understand financials, understand the fundamentals of how we use money and what money means to you, and understanding where it came from and how you're supposed to benefit from where it all started and how it started. All right, so let's go over here. Let me get this, make sure everyone is muted. All right, so number one, I want everyone to know, all of you to know, that I don't know everything, but the things I do know, I'm passionate about. And if you take the time to do the due diligence on a particular word or a particular industry, you will find out the, things that you may or may not know or have known. So when you understand your finances to the point where you can make better decisions, you become a more fruitful adult once it's time for you to step into the workforce for real, not the part-time summer jobs. But even though that still should be a learning experience, but I'm talking about once you have finally made the decision to become a participant in the ways of life. You want to have a serious understanding of finances. And I say it that way because if you don't take it serious now, you're going to wind up like myself. And that was a turbulent financial life filled with dark corners and uncertainty and a lot of bad mistakes because of being ignorant to the understanding of financial foundation, which really is the second part of after becoming a participant in life. You want to have your etiquettes correct, and that's you get that from mom and dad, and studying things, being articulate, being able to read. I definitely want everyone that's connected to this to read more. and you guys are already doing that in school, but take it on to another level by yourself. So that would be reading books like um, Power of the Subconscious Mind. Um, the stronger you make this egg up here, the more yolk you have to work with. So I use a lot of analogies. Read more. And I would also ask that if you have a hard time speaking publicly, or if you are, let's say, shy, is the word. Usually the young ladies that are shy, don't want to get in front of people and talk. That's fine. That's part of the thing. And some young men are like that. And the way you get around that, and what I used was the mirror in the bathroom. Just speak into it. See yourself talking. Look at yourself while you're talking. That gets you over the ability to speak. And you want to speak. Like if you go to a town meeting, like I've asked everyone to go in your own town to start participating in the political, not so much political, but participate in the how your city works and who's responsible for certain decisions. If you don't go to a town meeting, you won't know that information. So that also helps you be able to speak. Let's say that you like skateboarding, and the place that you used to skateboard was fun, was out of the way, and all of a sudden the city wanted to put up fences and keep you from doing your skateboarding there. Well, if you had gone to the meeting, they may have tabled the park or whatever it was, where they say a lot of kids are skateboarding and it's a menace to the whatever. They always want to find something wrong when you're having fun with it. So a lot of times they have to table something like that at the town hall meeting. So if you go to the town hall meeting and they say, well, we're going to table that park, we're just going to call it that park, and we're going to fence it because we think it's a hazard, you would have the opportunity to stand up and go to the podium and say, I'd like to table that decision on this or that. You might want to have something written up why you should have access to it. Maybe we could put up a safety regulation thing or someone to make sure everybody has a helmet and pads and all that to make it fun for the kids versus, oh, just fence it off and let they can't play there no more. And then they wonder why there's so much issue. But my thing is to start becoming involved, and that helps you have a better foundation all the way around, not just finances that we do here, but you have an opportunity to express. Okay, so that's one of the main things that I stick on here, and I've spoke on it a couple of times, but I'm going to try to get that a little bit more because there's a little bit older participants coming in now, and they can really you guys can make a difference in your own city, and you start there, and then you grow from there. I want to see more people in Congress, and you guys are the future. I want to see more people in Congress, if it's still around, in the House, and all of those seats up there with more diverse people and younger people. But the only reason why you see these really, really old people, and I don't have anything against old people, but I do when they're in control of my livelihood. They may have been born in 1919 and they don't believe in the things that we do now because they were born then. So their mindset is, oh no, keep it this way, keep it this way, keep it this way, and don't pay attention to evolution. Which brings me full circle. Finances. No one is teaching you how to use a bank or such. No one is teaching you what credit is. No one is teaching you how to create your personal foundation now, not when you become, a semi-adult. I say semi-adult because 21 is just a semi. You still don't know a whole lot, but you are considered an adult, and you don't want to start then. because you're all going in different directions. But hopefully, you won't be like that because you will have more of a seated understanding going forward. Like my buddy MJ, he's 11 or somewhere around there. I want to make sure I'm right, but he's the youngest one in the bunch. Imagine MJ when he gets 18, when he has everything going for him. He has a financial literacy understanding. He has an understanding of what political involvement is, not always political, but just being involved in your city. And see, a lot of people miss that part. They go straight to, oh, it's time to vote. What about all the people in between to this person? You have city council, you have all those. Just look at your city. You want to pull up city government and see who's there. You'll see there's a whole lot of people between you and the actual voting that everyone kind of centers their mind on. Oh, let's just vote on this day. What about all these other people that are involved in your life? So I need you to get involved. Imagine him going through this age, getting involved in all that. He will have an understanding of his city government. He will have an understanding of his own personal finances. He will have an understanding of banks and what they do. He will have an understanding of being involved in platforms that are going to further his financial foundation to a point where some adults that have already retired will not see the amount of income that he will generate before he's 21. See what I'm saying? So he's going to be a very powerful young man as well as the rest of you if you pay attention. A lot of this and what I'm doing is, again, because I love young people. I know they're my future. So I want to make sure y'all know something. When I get older and not able to do the things, I hope one of you pick up the torch and carry it on. So this is my part, giving back. All right. Just wanted to give that real quick so you know why I'm doing this. There's no paid anything. My payment is your education. And the more you know, the more I receive. Fair enough? Let's go. So there's 4 words. Whoever wants to go first, just unmute and let's go.
Mr. Lewis, can I go first?
Absolutely. Go right ahead.
Okay. Bankruptcy. Bankruptcy is a legal process where a person or a business can't pay their debts. So they ask a court to help them manage or get rid of those debts. It can involve selling assets or creating a plan to repay what they owe. For example, if someone has too much credit card debt and can't pay it back, they might file for bankruptcy. The court could decide to sell their car or other valuable items to help pay off part of the debt, and the rest might be forgiven. And there are 2 types of bankruptcies, Chapter 13 and Chapter 7. Chapter 7 is where they wipe out everything. Chapter 13 is when you create a payment plan. Self-interest. Self-interest is when a person acts in a way that benefits themselves or helps them achieve their own goals. It means focusing on what is best for you, even if it doesn't directly help others. Yeah. For example, studying hard for a test because you want a good grade is an example of self-interest. You are putting in the effort to improve your future, and reach your own personal goals, like getting into a good school or succeeding in your education. Legalese. Legalese is a fancy word used when referring to legal documents that is hard to understand. The language could be very difficult for the average person to understand that you may need an attorney to go over it for you. Contract. A contract is a written or spoken agreement between 2 or more people or groups that is legally binding. It usually involves promises to do something in exchange for something else. For example, when you sign an agreement to buy a car and agree to pay a certain amount each month, that's a contract. The seller promises to give you the car and you promise to make the payments. And that's it for me.
Perfect, sir. Thank you. Well done.
Mr. Lewis, can I go next?
Yes, please.
Bankruptcy is when a person or business cannot pay their debts and asks for legal help to manage or erase them. When I look up the definition of bankruptcy and all the things that causes it, my feeling about it is I'm grateful for a class like this, learning the do's and the don'ts. But even with all the financial knowledge, bankruptcy can still happen to the best of us. Self-interest Self-interest is caring about or focusing on what benefits you the most. An example of that is saving up money for yourself to buy food, clothes, a car, or anything you want or need. I wanted to point out that self-interest and selfishness are two different things. Self-interest is self-love. Contract is a legal agreement between people or groups, often written that lists what everything promises to do. An example of that is if I hire someone to fix my roof, they will give you a contract before they fix the roof that you will pay a certain amount after they fix the roof. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay. Legalese is a complicated formal language often used in legal documents that can be hard to understand. In my opinion, legalese is all the fine print on things. For example, in the fine print of my shaving cream, it will say a bunch of fancy words, but I have no idea what it means. And that's it.
Perfect job. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Lewis, could I go?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Bankruptcy is a legal process where individuals or companies can be relieved of any financial commitments. These people or companies are known as debtors, which is a term used for people who owe money to lenders or creditors. A lot of people use this as a way to be prevented from being sued. For example, if I paid $4,000 to a coach to teach me how to sell on a platform like Amazon and I end up wanting my money back, they could use bankruptcy as a tactic to not give it back to me. Bankruptcy comes from the Italian phrase bancarotta, which means broken bench or broken bank, and it was established in the US in 1841, and it was one of the very few laws to not have a racial divide. What's next? Self-interest means to prioritize your own well-being and desires. In some cases, self-interest can also refer to completely disregarding others for your own gain. For example, most people go to work because they're getting paid. That's acting out of self-interest. Or when Vice President Kamala Harris was paying a number of celebrities to endorse her campaign, that was for her own political gain. This can present itself in multiple ways, such as finances, academics, strategies for your company, and much more. Legalese, for this, I found two meanings. I'm not sure which one you would have preferred, so I just did both.
That's
But the
fine.
first definition for legalese is a technical writing style used by lawyers and other individuals in the legal field to discuss legal terms, laws, and contracts, and any other kind of document that is legally binding. It's known as jargon or legal speak. And then the second definition for legalese is a service company that provides services in assets and investment protection, structure and building businesses, and estate planning. Contract is a legally binding agreement between two or more parties that requires them to provide or perform a specific action or service by law. They can be typed, written, sent as invoices or letters. The history of contract law can be traced back to ancient civilization and was influenced by ancient Greece and Rome. Contracts and agreements became normalized in the late 19th century. They are now used in everyday life for a multitude of things. If you want to pay for a course on how to sell on Amazon, they have you sign a contract. If you go into a bank to open up a new checking or savings account, they have you electronically sign documents that are in agreement with their terms and their conditions. basically signing a contract to give them control of your finances. And then I also asked you a question about credit unions last week, and you told me to look further into it, so I did. I found that they are called credit unions because they are owned and controlled by its members. The word union in the name refers to shared situations such as where you work, live, and even what they believe in. This is one of the reasons why they're referred to as the People's Bank. Banks were created to generate profit for its owners/members, while credit unions are created to serve as a tool for financial needs. Credit unions originated in Germany in the 1850s to the 60s and then spread to North America during the 20th century. As it spread across American shores, the credit union movement became acknowledged and soon became federalized and received widespread acceptance. And then on June 26, 1934, late President Franklin D. Roosevelt approved the Federal Credit Union Act, allowing credit unions in each state to build a foundation of nonprofit organizations to design steady financial habits. And that's it for me.
Awesome job. Awesome job. Thank you so much. I just learned something myself today. Thank you.
You're welcome.
May I go next?
Yes, please.
Bankruptcy is a legal move for individuals that are struggling financially and need financial relief. The person filing for bankruptcy is called a debtor or debtor, and they are also asking the bankruptcy court to release the debtor from previous financial commitments. Bankruptcy is a good option when there are no other options. It gives you a fresh start financially, but it damages the credit score in the long run. Self-interest in these terms doesn't mean you're greedy or immoral. Self-interest is more of a theory that people will act and make exchanges that will benefit both consumer and producers. Adam Smith, the father of modern economics, said that when people act in their own self-interest, it leads to the best outcome for everyone. Legalese is just a legal language seen, or is just the legal language seen on legal documents that most people will not understand because they are not in the legal branch of the economy, like lawyers or judges or government workers. And contracts create bindings and legal obligations between two parties or more. Contracts are guaranteed that things will get done, and if one party violates their end of the contract, then the other party will take legal recourse. And that's it.
That's it. Awesome job. Awesome job. Thank you so much. You guys are awesome. Anybody else? Anybody else?
Yeah, I got all the words now.
Want to take a shot at it?
Yeah, you can go for it.
Sure.
All right, bankruptcy. Someone is in debt and they can't pay their debt off. Self-interest, somebody's personal interest in their well-being. Legal lease. A legal lease is a binding contract between two parties that outlines the terms for one party to rent an asset owned by the other party. A contract, a written agreement between two or more people.
Okay. Excellent job. Thank you. Anybody else before I move on? Anybody else? Even if you didn't get it, if you just listened to what they said and you want to take a crack at the words, legalese, contract, self-interest, and bankruptcy. You can go with your own understanding of it. Anybody? Okay. I'm not going to keep you long this weekend. I know it's Saturday. I'm still eating turkey. I'm sure you're going to get some too. I want to touch on one thing here that I'm pretty sure that you heard 4 times, 5 times. And thank all of you for the excellent work that you did on your assignment. It's important that you follow through. And every weekend that we do come up with an assignment, that's a miniature contract between us. So I want you to start taking it a little bit more personal. Okay. Let's start to build a confidence in yourself that when you take on a assignment that you follow through. Okay. Um, Time management is probably going to be the first word for next assignment. So let's put in time management. Second word for next week is going to come out of what I'm getting ready to say. So legalese. I kind of went over a little bit last week, and I need to speak on it again this week because you're getting ready to get into it, especially with these um, banks, and by having the ability to use a bank, either the one down the street or the one in the box that's going to come to you when you order it. The instructions, okay, and how to use the equipment, how to use the devices, how to use the bank down the street, debit card, how to use a checking account. All of that stuff is wrapped around legalese. And legalese, like I said last week, my understanding of it and why it's so difficult is because it's a language. I know you heard it because everybody that just did the assignment said it over and over. And there's a reason why I do that. The language is written by and for attorneys. Now I want you to stop for a second and think just think for a minute. It's written for attorneys. It is their language. So why is it on every document that we have? I'm just going to pull this out and use this as an example. Of course, this is not really that, but the paperwork that's involved with the bank or the cold storage has a list of things that you can and can't do with it. The computer, when you buy it, it comes with a manual and also comes with that terms and agreement. You online, if you purchase a insurance for your scooter, is going to have a contract that you have to read and should read so you know what you're signing. 90% of America does not read any of those documents. They just click, what do I sign? Sign right. Okay, I sign. Click, done. Now, 2 weeks later, you get a bill in the mail for $420. What is this? Why am I paying this much? Because in the contract that you just signed, you said that you would pay the $425 in 30 days. But because you didn't read it or take the time to have it read to you, then you signed it, you're liable. And there's nothing you can say or do. So what I'm getting at, and my main point here that I want to make sure that you understand or comprehend, that's another word in legalese, understand, but comprehend, that means one thing. And I don't speak in legalese. I'm just aware of it. And that's why I catch myself so you can catch yourself. When you hear certain words, understand is legalese. It's not a word that says you comprehend something. But anyway, we're talking about comprehension. You can comprehend something if you read it. If you don't read it, then you're liable. There's two different outcomes from not reading. You either comprehend it, or you're liable to it. Make sense? So in the future, and start practicing now, in the future, whenever you are buying something, doing something, take a pause and say, I would like to have this read by an attorney so I understand or comprehend what it means. What that's going to do, number one, is stop you from being taken advantage of, like 90% of us. I know I have signed some things in a hurry at the bank, getting a checking account. Yeah. Here, sign right here. Okay, give me my checking account. Here's $20, go. But now I'm legally liable for whatever happens with that bank. Like I said, you deposit your money, it's no longer yours. But you have to know that because it's in the terms and agreement of that contract. But if you didn't have it read to you, or if you asked the lady or male or the person, we'll say the banker, shouldn't have to do all that, but whatever. You ask the banker, well, I don't read that well. You just blame it on whatever. Can you read this contract to me and see how willing they are to read it? I assure you, they're going to come up with a shorter version of what they think it means. Oh, this is just the contract or the documents to verify that you are real and you want this bank account. Okay, so why doesn't it just say that? This is page after page after page after page. Nobody reads that. But going forward, you will. Take self-interest in knowing what you're putting your signature on. Your signature, I don't know if I did this or not. Let's put that as a second word, signature. I think I did, but I don't think I've gotten real deep. You are. Your signature is gold. And I'm not going to go into too much of it because I want you to find out what your signature is worth and what it is and what it means. Your signature. Okay. When you put it on something and, write it onto a piece of paper that has a whole bunch of words and sentences and paragraphs of this and that and the numbers and fractions and whatnot, you have no idea what you just signed. You just signed it because you need your checking account. Okay,
Mr. Wu,
yes.
apologies for cutting you off. My mistake. I actually kind of wanted to add on to what you were saying because you did go over this at the very beginning of Kids Corner. I took my notes on it, and you said that any documents that we were signing, whether it was receipts at a restaurant or purchasing something, a card or anything, you told us to never sign our names because we're basically giving them money. Like our signatures are worth thousands of dollars. So I just wanted to say that I remember you teaching us that.
Awesome. See, y'all see that, right? Right? Y'all see that? She took notes. Hold on. She took notes, and here we bounce back around to one of the words from Ye Win, and that information is still there. You see what I'm talking about? That's important. And thank you, Jaden, for bringing it back around. It's just awesome. I tell you, I think out of everything that I have ever done in life, this is the absolute most fun I have ever had. And I've done a lot of things. But thank you. Signatures, I would say if you want to go over it, I'll add an extra word. But seeing as though I already covered it, I would like to refresh. But I'll add another word. But your signature is going to go on a lot of things through the course of your life. You do it on a regular basis, unknowingly, but I want you to take more care in that process. And a lot of the processes coming in the very near future are going to be this signature, okay? That design on the end of this appendage, okay? You are going to use your fingerprint, which is actually the original signature, because that's what was used on documents in blood to sign. It was the thumb. And the reason why that was done, look that up. Let's do that. Look, what is the originality of signature? Originality of signature. Okay, originality of signature. So a lot of people sign their contracts that way because there was no English, there was no language. It was the most serious signature you could do. There was not a lot of understanding. There was, but it wasn't. But when you put that thumbprint on there, that's your signature. It could have been a fight to the death. You have to put your thumbprint on there and say that I sign with blood. That means I sign with everything I am. It's awesome how words get mixed around. Notice how I am is in there. So going forward in your understanding of how things will go is going to be much easier when you have the understanding of what the little pieces of how things go forward. The new evolution or the evolution occurring right now. I really, really need you to pay attention because you guys are going to be I would say the teachers of the very near future. One, because all of money that we know is going to switch over to this anyway. They're already talking about it. We've been doing it for quite a while. Ever since like I said, the debit card came out. That's when things went electronic. So you already been doing digital money. That's not going to be new. It's just going to be forefront and called what it is instead of a debit card. Because that's what they called it before, a debit card. But that's electronic and that's digital. So you already know the new evolution. The only difference is it will take forefront. And what does that mean? Simple. Now you have the paper, the green dollar thing, and you put that in the bank and it gives you digits across the screen. And you can say that I have $100 in the bank because if I put my debit card in the machine and put my PIN in and click on check balance, you're going to see $100. Digits. You're not going to see five $20 bills. You're not going to see a $100 bill and so on and so forth. You're going to see $100 in digits on a screen. Now, I want to stop for a second. When I stop and I say, okay, when you look at those digits across the screen, did you see money? Yes. I'm going to answer that for you. Yeah, you saw it. You saw that I have $100. Did you see the fact that you can go buy something for $50? Yes, I have enough in there. I have two $50 in there. So you saw it. Now watch. You saw the digits across the screen as money in your foundation. I'm going to say that again slower. You saw digits, not money. You saw digits on the screen, and you were okay with that and knowing that I have $100 in my financial foundation, right? So you were looking at digital money. That's why I'm saying the evolution that you're going through right now, you already know it. It's just going to take front stage. And you will be able to use it where you want to. Not because you have a debit card. Okay? So there's the difference, and I need you to separate this difference. The bank down the street has a debit card, has a checking account, has a savings account, has CDs and all this other stuff that we've already gone over. They have all that there, all right? I hate when I cut my hair, it gets in my shirt. That's what I keep itching at. Anyway, they have all that stuff there, and you have to go there. If you want to use any of it, you have to do what? Sign a contract. You have to sign away your ability to manage your finances. Okay, most people think, oh, I'm just going to get a bank account. No, you're not. You are signing away your ability to manage your finances. That's what that contract says that you so willingly signed. Now, flip side to that, which is the evolution happening right now, we have this, which is a digital device called cold storage. And this is your bank, and you become the banker. You see what I'm saying? There's a difference here. Now watch. Did you have to sign a contract to use this? No. Did you have to ask permission to use it to hold your finances? No. When you purchased this, you got the understanding on how to use it. You had instructions, correct? Yes. Yes, you do. When you bought this, activated it, and deposit your funds on it, who owns it? You do. Now, here's where the legalese gets cut out of the picture. Down the street, you have to sign a contract that says, here, I'm signing my name to put my money in your pocket, and you take care of it as you see fit and give it to me when you say it's okay to give it to me. We're all happy to sign up, right? Of course, when you didn't know that, that's what you were doing, you signed willingly. I signed willingly. I'm not saying that any of us have not signed willingly. There's a new kid in town. When you purchase this, you become a banker. All of you, all of my I don't want to call you kids. That's not fair because you're all different ages. I will say my young adults, or whatever you want me to call you guys, so we can vote on it at the end. What do you want me to call you? Young adults, kids, my homies, whatever, my nieces and nephews, my family, pick one. But when you get this, you become the banker. Now, with that knowledge, again, comes understanding. And what does it mean when you become a banker? Let's sit back and think for a second. I'm a banker now. So what is my responsibility? So let's put that as word number 3. Banker. Self. Banker. What is my responsibilities? What do I have to do? Who's in charge of the bank? What are the hours that the bank operates? Who do I have to see when I have a problem? Now, I'm not going to answer all of that because I want you to put it on your stuff. But when you purchase one of these, that's going to be your assignment. I want to see what you come up with. When you purchase one of these, you become the banker. All right? When you purchase, I don't have all the stuff because I cleaned up everything for Thanksgiving. When you have your wallet, which can either be on your cell phone or it can be on a card, it can be on your computer, but your wallet is another item that you own. And what is the wallet? The wallet is the transfer mechanism, your ATM machine. Let's call it the ATM. My personal ATM machine is my wallet because cryptos and digital currencies will come into it. Cryptos and digital currencies will go out of it. Okay, so it's your personal ATM machine. Isn't that awesome? So, of course, if you're a banker, you become a banker, you have to have an ATM machine outside, right? Well, this is inside because you own it. All right, so now you got your ATM machine. Well, what comes with a bank? A debit card, right? So you can go shop and pay your bills and this, that, and the other, right? Well, you're going to have a crypto debit card, which you're going to use to purchase things, pay bills, buy, it's used for that purpose and that purpose only. Buying things. Okay, and then the final piece to this 4-piece immaculancy, if that's a word, is the bank itself. So now you have 4 items. You have the cell phone, smartphone, which can actually hold all 4 things within it. So it's a multitask thing. You have a wallet of your choice that you can use as your ATM machine. You can pull out whatever you want, put in whatever you want, move it to wherever you want digitally. You have a crypto debit card to which you will use to shop with and buy the things that you need when you want to and for how much you want to without asking what permission. And then, of course, you have the cold storage, which is the bank. You become a bank owner. Now, with all of that wrapped together comes great responsibility. And that means record keeping. Now, one of the things that I've asked the adults to do, I'm going to ask you guys to do, because like I said, you're pretty much caught up to them now. So there's nothing, everything I'm teaching you, I'm teaching them. Notebooks are important. I know I made mention because I think my sister held up her notebook last week, but I need you guys to get notebooks. With the medium size or whatever's comfortable. You already got them for school, so you're used to notebooks. I don't like using the word want because it's a yearning of something never given. But I would like for you to have a notebook of 5 Mead because it has, I think, 250 pages in it or somewhere along that line. It's a large notebook because you're going to have it for a while. Okay. In that notebook, you're going to put your items, you're going to put your contracts or your affiliations. Like when you join a Promise Delivered, you're going to put on the top of the page a Promise Delivered, the email address you joined it with, and the password to that email address, the password to the website. You're going to have all that information on one page. Okay, one page is going to have the title, A Promise Delivered. What email address did you use to sign up with it? That should be there. And the password. What's the username and password for the website? That should be there. What wallets did you get? What digital bank did you get? What cell phone are you using? All that information should be on that page. Next page, Team Royal. The day you joined, the username, password, and so on and so forth. Start using these notebooks even for your personal information. Not too much personal, but I'm just saying, if you're doing something like if you're I don't know, I'm just going to use my first analogy. If you're going to start growing jalapeno peppers, you would want to first do your due diligence on how many different jalapeno peppers actually exist. Okay, so you have an understanding, okay, well, there's 13 variations of a jalapeno pepper. They should all be there. And when you buy the seeds, you put in, I bought this many of this variation, this many of this, so on and so forth. And if you do your everyday life like that, if you write out stuff and you stay on track and it eliminates, watch this, and this is huge. And I'm gonna let you go after this one. Let's put this one down as the last one. It eliminates procrastination. ATION. Procrastination is the killer of all desire. I'm just going to say that. You're going to put the rest. That's your 4th word. So there's 4 words: time management, signature originality. That means just do a deep dive on signature. Self-banker and procrastination. Those are your 4 words. Is there any questions?
Mr. Lewis, 2 things. What was the 3rd one?
Self-banker.
Self-finger.
Banker.
You said self finger?
Banker.
Oh, banker.
Banker. Banker.
Oh wait, what was the last one again? I know it started with something. Oh wait,
The
I
last
heard you too. Yeah, the last one.
procrastination.
Procrastinate. Okay. Procrastination, and I do have the real question right here. Okay. So I wanted to ask you this question from last week, but the call ended before I was able to ask it.
Sure.
So last week you were talking about the word understand and what it means. My question is, do you agree that a better word to use in place of this, of understand, is overstand or understand? And what is your thoughts of those two items instead of understand? Because
Oh,
when the cop pulls you over for maybe a routine traffic stop,
mhm.
they read you your rights, and then they say, "Do you understand your rights?"
Mm-hmm.
But you should say, "I don't understand anything." Or
Right.
I overstand this.
I overstand would be your reply to him, which means you comprehend. So the word that you would want to use in place of that word, depending on how it's presented or what situation you're in, comprehend is the word. That means that you have to use the word because it's what we know as understanding something. So comprehension is the act of understanding it or taking it in, and you come to terms with what's being said. Now, understand, depending on when it's used, the word understand says, or it's a statement in reverse. That's legalese. It says that I stand under any and all things that you say over me. Okay, so like the analogy with the police officer, you pull over, he says, do you understand why I pulled you over? It's a simple question. Most people miss it, and they answer. The second you answer, you stand under anything else he says on the side of the road. Okay, so you place yourself under his rule at that point. Now, the same question, you could be at a dinner party, and someone says, well, I understood to be here at 7 o'clock. What about you? Yeah, I was here at 6:45 too. So you understand or understood a time frame. You comprehended that you had to be there by 7. And that's an agreement between two people with the simple word of understand. That means an agreement to be somewhere or do something at a certain time or whatever. Now, overstand means that you comprehend, but I'm not standing under any obligation that you put me under or trying to put over me. So you overstand it. Okay. Understand is agreement between two on a certain situation without obligation or liability, which means that you're liable for what you do after you say this word. So there's different variations to that word. It just depends on who you're talking to and what situation it's wrapped around. Anything legal, like police officer in the courtroom, you should not say anything. That's just my opinion. You have to go, learn law before you start making those kind of analogies. So take that with the comprehension that you're going to go study that if you happen to get into that situation. And you should all do that because you never know when you're going to wind up in court. You need to know how to handle yourself when you're in court. So you have to understand law, what the situations are when you step in a courtroom. What are you able to say? What you should or shouldn't say? It's all out there. You have to study it. And that's, again, I don't have license for that, so you have to do your own due diligence. But the word understand, like I said, has many different variations depending on the situation that it's used. Okay, so take a few minutes, depending on where you are, what's going on when that word is presented, and answer accordingly. I hope that helped.
Okay, so basically what you're saying is there is a right and wrong way to use the word in a time and place.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Lewis.
Absolutely. Is there any other questions?
Montalvo, can I make a comment on contracts?
Sure.
Contracts also can be oral contracts, and they are also binding in the courts. Perfect example is back in the 1990s, Kim Basinger agreed to appear in some film, and she later reneged, and the movie producer sued her and won an $8 million settlement against her. She later appealed and got it reduced, but she was still found guilty and went bankrupt in the process. And when you get married, you're entering into a contract not just between you and your spouse, but you're also entering into a contract with the county that you got the license from.
Mm-hmm.
And when you dissolve that marriage, you also have to go back to the court because you've entered into the contract not only again with your spouse, but with the county. So now the judge has got to approve that and put his stamp, his seal on that. Or same with when you have children. You've entered into a contract now, again, with the county. Your birth certificate goes to the county.
Mm-hmm.
And it's all contract. So just
Yep. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. And again, it's all about doing the due diligence and understanding or comprehending what you're moving into. And the more foundation, thank you, by the way.
no problem.
The more you do the digging and get the foundations you need, the better adult you will become because you'll be fully rounded up here. You know, not just going to be one of those ones that say, well, I don't know, and leave it at that. So again, I do appreciate all of you for giving me your Saturday, and hopefully this is helping round out your financial foundation. Any other questions?
Yes, Mr. Lewis, what's those 4 words again? I got time management, procrastination, and self-anchor. What was that last one?
Signature originality.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, any other questions? All right, I'm going to take that as a no. Enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you so much for coming again, and we will see you next Saturday. Those 4 words for your assignment is time management, signature originality, self-banker, and procrastination.